Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collected podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 613. We're live tonight. It is Tuesday, February 11th. I'm Lucas. I'm joined tonight by Christian.
What up?
And Phil.
Sup, Internet?
And Rob.
Hello.
So, we managed to have the show last week right before the announcement. We did our predictions. I just published the podcast, so the audio version. So I'm sure that people will love listening to an hour and a half of us doing predictions on something that happened a week ago. But, hey.
I would like to point out that I was right about all of the tiers, just wrong about the order of the tiers.
I mean, Death Cobra being the first one is kind of surprising, but nice to see.
Yeah, I really thought that'd be the last one.
Yeah. Nope, the last one is your toy will fall over if you don't unlock it.
That's right. Fall over, fall on the ground.
It is nice at least that they gave us an actual figure as, because don't they do that with like some of the Marvel Legends ones, right? Where they actually give a bunch of extra Marvel Legends figures.
Yep,
Yeah,
the closest we got was the micros.
Yeah, they didn't do a Giant Man. So I feel like they're cutting back on that as they're trying to like maybe lower the price a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, it seemed like the leakers were right yet again, because they pretty much, like when I went out to TFW, before the show last week, they're all like, yeah, it's going to be Liokaiser, guys. So,
And it is.
So we continue the trend, right, of Japanese...
more victory.
Victory, yeah.
One would almost say it's a victory for victory.
Yeah, but if you listen to last week's episode, I have definitely bought into Anna's theory that it's like the 75th percentile of popularity that has to go in Haslab, because if it were more popular, it would just be retail. But if it were less popular, it wouldn't get made at all. And I think that's all of the stuff that we've seen so far. It's like, oh, Liokaiser would go well at retail. Maybe not.
I feel like part of it is that, like, if they're pitching this to Walmart or Target or something, they're just like, who the hell is that?
Who is
like,
this?
Why would we ever put a $300 figure on the shelf? Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, obviously they would split it up, right? Like how they do the other combiners like Superior and whatnot. But like, I feel like it's still a tough sell if they were just going to like add that to like the main retail wave.
Yup.
Yeah, and I just like kept harping last week on the idea of it being a combiner, and I feel like kind of just like I don't know, an idiot for overlooking the concept of like, well, if they're going to do a rail racer, they can put out 3 separate, Voyager scale train bots, and there you get your rail racer. It doesn't have to be a set. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with some of these other ones, because again, we've got this idea of the new Titan class, which I think a lot of us are talking like, oh, these guys will be great in this, and then the new Titan class, but no.
Zoldron wants to know if Entertainment Earth still has a stock of the Combiner Wars version of Liokaiser.
I had to import mine back in the day because all the American listings for it were so late. So I had mine long before. And I still have it now.
Yeah, Yeah, see, why do I need to get this updated version, Christian, if I already have my Combiner Wars version?
Well, one, this has all the members, including the tiny little babies, which is good. We like it.
Including the 7th member.
Including the 7th member and his baby, so that's always good too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the pictures now because I wanted to check and see, how far along we are after 4 days, and we are 47% funded, so things are going well for us.
Well, the other thing I thought I saw, the TF Talk Discord that they were posting it. I don't know, maybe I saw it somewhere else. I think it was the Discord. That they opened it up in China, and that supposedly I don't think they've added the numbers yet, but that they already sold 3,000 in China.
Great. Well, then we'll be almost there.
Yep.
But what I'm curious about, and what I haven't seen yet, and you guys may have seen it, you know how they're now called the chest force, by the way, not the breast force, which is fine. Mm-hmm. That they have the breast animal mode and then the non-breast animal mode. Do they have both of those this time, or they just have the animals on them at all times? I can't tell.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
I think they just have whole, because the originals rotate the chests up or down depending on if you have their animal friends installed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that we know for sure, but it seems like they probably just have holes in their chest.
Yeah. We'll find out. I do think the naming is interesting. So it's Liokaiser. That's how it's always been. The breast force has been renamed to the chest force. I think that's fine. I mean, I guess. Kill Bison is back. What? I'm going to get to that one.
Yeah.
Elbat is his name instead of
No.
And
different. There's
Heckbat.
They didn't proofread it because in the photos,
some of the
he's
Hellbat.
Hellbat, but in the copy, it's Elbat.
I really liked when he came out in Combiner Wars and was called Fellbat. I think that worked really well.
Right.
That was a good name.
Good one.
And we had Iron Bison then, but it's back to Kill Bison now. So I don't know why Kill Bison is okay and Hellbat is not, or whatever. Or Death
I think the
Cobra.
Hellbat may potentially be a copyright thing, because doesn't DC have a Hellbat? I don't know.
Marvel has a Hellcat.
Yes, there is a Hellbat in DC.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like a Batman thing.
Oh, is it his armor? Is it like the black armor with the red highlights? Yeah.
According to Google. Like, I didn't know this. I just Googled it.
Yeah, that's Patrick Gleason design. It's really awesome looking. He went and fought Darkseid.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I did like Fellbat as a name. That seemed nice.
Yeah.
So now he's just Elbat, it seems, but whatever.
Zaldron just said heel bat suit. I did not proofread your message before putting it out there, Zaldron. Heel bat.
Heel bat. But yeah, so that's happening. We're well on our way. I think it looks nice. I backed it. Apparently I was backer 89. That's kind of cool.
Well, look at you. Wow.
Yeah, well.
It was kind of a weird timing for it to come out, because we got the leaks early on in the morning, like IGN maybe screwed up or whatever, and then they showed it off during the panel, and it was like I was refreshing for Central Time at 10 a.m. thinking it would go live, and then it didn't go live at 10 a.m. So I'm like, all right, it'll probably be 11. Not that it matters. It's not like it's going to sell out. And then something like 10:15, 10:20 is when people started messaging me. They're like, oh, it's up now.
Yep, that was odd.
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing, but I was in Eastern time.
Yeah. And because oftentimes on Pulse, like 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central is when stuff gets normally dropped, but Fridays they usually push it up an hour. So it's usually, 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. So
is that so they can take a long lunch on Friday?
Is that, or just like, hey, let's just get done and get out of here, or the fact that they think like, hey, maybe not everyone's working on Fridays, or people leave early on Fridays. So, you don't want to catch people in their commute. You want to catch it like while they're at their desk, sort of thing.
Yeah, good point. But it's up. So what do you guys think of it? Rob, let's start with you. You haven't been on the show in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't buy I haven't bought any Haslab other than Unicron, and I thought Victory Saber and Deathsaurus both looked a lot better than this looks, and were better value for the money. You know, this I'm not wowed by it, to be honest. And y'all know I don't buy much mainline these days. You know, I buy some things here and there, but not much. But like, are Voyagers $50 now? Did I miss a memo on that? These $50 Voyagers? Okay, so like, this doesn't look as good as the previous two to me, and it seems well overpriced.
Christian has a look.
Yeah, he's welcome to disagree. Like, I don't think it looks like, dollar store garbage or anything. The proportions just look odd to me. Like, looks kind of squat, except for his waist area, which looks like really tall to me. I don't know. It was just off-putting. It wasn't like I went looking for problems. I just saw it and it was kind of like, there's kind of that gut reaction. And it has, I don't know, everything just looks like really kind of squat, but I've thought that about their Devastators has that look to it as well. I mean, like, it's kind of chunky and kind of like not chibi, but like kind of like in that vein a little bit compared to what I would expect.
My take on it was that it has a little bit of that like Dreamwave Pat Lee puffiness.
Maybe. Yeah, I was really surprised it was $300 at 6 Voyagers. And
if we get Death Cobra though, then it works out to $42 per Voyager, which is not too far above retail.
Okay.
Well,
$42 per Voyager and Minicon, and the Voyager's all triple change.
Yeah.
I mean, do they though? Do they?
They
make a combiner part.
The legs have to stand sideways. I mean, that's tough.
It just, I don't know. Like, I love Liokaiser. I have was it Fans Project? I think they did it, or was it
TFC?
TFC. It was TFC. Okay.
80s.
Yeah, I haven't touched it in forever, but I don't know. I'm still kind of tempted just because it's Liokaiser, and I really like Liokaiser. And I mean, I didn't pick up the Combiner Wars one because that was a joke. But this is
just said the Combiner Wars one looks better than this one.
No, he said the two before, meaning the two previous
Haslabs
before this.
Oh, okay, that was my look. Because like the two previous Liokaisers look better than this one. I'm like,
no.
Victory
Saber and
I understand.
Deathsaurus, I thought both of those actually looked great. I just didn't really have it's the space thing, but you start to get me with Japanese combiners. Even though I was still tempted by those two because I like those characters, but I don't know. It's kind of a hard sell for me. I feel like it should be cheaper or better than what I see here. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to wrap my head around that too, right? And I talked to Christian about that the day it dropped, because I was like, I would feel much better if it was like $250. Like, for whatever reason, that like $300 like price point, like in your head, you're just like, like, it just seems like a lot, right? Because it's like we got Devastator coming out. I think he's going to be a 6-per-team combiner, and it's what, 210. So if you throw like an extra character here, I mean, it is a limited run. Like, I'm sure Devastator, they're going to sell twice as many as what they sell of this, right? So, and I think that they're not, there's, like, I don't necessarily know that they plan on doing any repaints with this, so it's kind of like this is what it is. Like, you got the molds for that. But, like, I do kind of feel like there's a little bit, like, after we had Deathsaurus, that, like, you could see them going up, and it seems like Omega Prime is really nice looking as well. Like, it just looks premium. And so that's where I kind of feel like this one is kind of like more in the vein of Star Saber, where it's still nice generations and stuff like that, but there's a little bit with that. The other thing I think is a little bit odd with the figure is that so they integrated all of the parts into the combiner, with the exception of the pants, which I think that we probably, I don't know, like you probably don't want the pants to be integrated, right? Because it just causes issues, or like in the past. But at the same time, it just seems like an odd thing that like the fists and the legs and all the, you know, the heels or whatever, the feet and stuff like that are all in the combiner or in the individual figures, but then we have a separate set of pants.
Like the G1 combiner had it all integrated other than the head. Like I think they could have done it fine. I mean, the G1 did it and looks good.
I don't think that I know that there's a separate pants.
I thought that's what they were saying. Maybe I may be wrong with that, but like it seems like the way that Jalgard is that how you say it? Jaruga, that how he is. It seems like that the pants have to be separate.
It looks like they're separate because I don't see where they're hiding it in him.
But
I mean, that doesn't mean they're not. But looking at his robot mode, I don't know where it would be unless I literally photoshopped it out.
So, and maybe
or
they'll
it
do
could
something,
be in the legs.
Maybe it'll be something interesting, like, you know, like I know how that on Superion, like where it's like it's you know, it's a jet, and then it's like a bigger jet for Silverbolt, right?
Well, I feel like they would have shown that if that was a thing that was happening.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, they only had, like, for physical, they just had the grayscale model.
Right.
Yeah, but, like, even when they showed off Silverbolt, they showed off a render of both of the plane types. They haven't showed off a render of any extra pieces.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It just looks like it'd be physically impossible for it to not be a separate piece.
Flapjack backstacks.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's not there, like, but just given the way those thighs look, I don't know where they would be
I kind of think they're under the chests and heads of Drillhorn and Killbison.
I wondered that, but I was like looking closer at those, like they do snap apart, and so it could be hidden in there and flip up.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, then cool. Like, yeah, I don't know for sure. So maybe I'm, you know, wrong on that. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is hard to tell.
I'm very much in the camp of like, if you need a parts form a combiner to make all the modes look right, fine, go for it. Don't like.
I'm not going to crucify any for people doing that, but like, I do really appreciate it, like when they can make it all in one and have less attachment parts. Like, I appreciate it, but it's fine if it doesn't happen.
Right.
I guess I just feel like out of the gate, we've been dealing with parts forming with combiners. So, you know, whether it was Devastator or the Scramble City dudes, you know.
Devastator had the least parts forming. It had like.
It's so hard
I'm
to
talking
tell.
I'm talking G1.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. To me, I mean, I guess it has that one funky piece to hook the legs on or whatever. But
yeah,
it didn't have all the feet and hands. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at this picture, and I'm just looking at Drillhorn here, and it kind of looks like that's coming out from inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to tell though. Point. I mean, at the very least, we need some clarification.
Yeah.
Hey, Drillhorn, is that a thigh in your neck, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah, at the very least, clarification, please. But I'm sure we'll be getting, you know, a stream where they talk about that sort of stuff in the next 2 weeks.
Or the next 45 days or whatever.
Somewhere.
So, Lucas, it's interesting that you brought up Star Saber with this. You know, we don't have, you know, Godfire Convoy in hand yet, so it's a little harder to say how he's going to kind of look and feel compared to the previous Haslabs. But, you know, I think when we got Deathsaurus we talked about the idea of like him looking more premium. He has, nicer paint apps. All of that just sort of felt higher end. And I think we kind of just like, we're not saying like, oh, Hasbro said this or whatever, but there was the sort of consensus, like when you have a fairly simple transformation, you don't have a lot of gimmicks in the engineering, you can go and spend the budget in other places. And Star Saber, Victory Saber didn't have that because the budget had to go to, all of the transformation and the combination and the
Right.
features. So I think that's a, similar reason why we're seeing Death Stars looking, at least from the pictures, the renders that we're seeing, not quite as premium in terms of the paint apps and finishes like Death Stars had.
Well, and it's hard to, like, obviously, until you actually see the final painted version. Like, I mean, this is all, like, CAD renders, and they do a decent job with the presentation, but, or, like, we've seen grayscale models, so it is somewhat hard. I will say, one thing, because I've been kind of going back and forth trying to decide if I want to fund it or not, but I've been, like, comparing it to the Iron Factory and the TFC ones, right? And, I mean, I do think that the official one is, one is going to fit more in my collection, but two is, like, I do think is a little more accurate to, the original toy and the cartoon. So, like, that, I kind of feel like from that standpoint that I'm like, I'm not sure that the Iron Factory, that I'd be happy if I, decide to go and get that instead. But I don't know. Like if I was like Rob and had the TFC one, I don't know that I would bother with back in the Haslab, right?
I mean, the TFC one, I own it. I've had it for a number of years. It is an older third party toy, and so some of the engineering on it isn't the greatest, especially below the waist, like above the waist up.
The plane toys are pretty good, and Leozak is great. I mean, I haven't touched them in a long time, but those are my memories. And then when you get to the feet bots, you're just kind of like, I guess they're feet bots.
Yeah. They
sure
just
are.
Sort of look like he's walking on, like he's like a torso on stilts.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, he looks on the shelf, that turquoise, that red, that blue of the three jets, the head, everything just looks the way you want it to. And then individually, all six of the bots, maybe Jaraga is he's got to do a lot of work for that with that toy because of all the like engineering that's going on. He's okay. The other five are fantastic in terms of individual bots, but it's still like it's not perfect. So, I mean, I have TFC Hades. I have backed this hooded monstrosity that just joined us. I have backed Liokaiser. So, I'm not, I don't know, I'm not blown away by it, especially like Leozak and Liokaiser's heads I'm disappointed in. But, for the most part, I think it's cool. And again, the Death Cobra thing, I think really like put me over the top.
The Death Cobra thing is really cool.
Yeah.
Just that it exists.
So Paul, you joined us at the perfect point. What we're debating right now is if we already spent all this money on a third-party version, like that is going to keep us from funding this and giving Hasbro money on the official one. So I know
there's no reality
you
where
love,
you don't buy this, Lucas. You're going to buy this.
I'm really just saying this because I know that Paul loves that point. So
it's not going to fund, and it's because of the third party that came out 10 years ago.
No.
I don't know if it will.
Totally fund.
It's totally going to, won't it?
No, it's going to fund. Come on.
Like right. The Death Cobra could not fund, but I bet that funds too.
That would suck.
Yeah. It's ahead. Right now, I think it's ahead of the pace of like the last ones, or it's right at the same pace as the last couple Haslabs for Transformers. So like, I don't think it's going to be a problem. So
Phil, Lucas, you're saying you're kind of on the fence, but I totally think you're going to buy it, and I think it's
it's kind of like again.
I ordered mine today.
The Omega Prime, right? Like, I was on the fence with that one, and I ordered it, and I honestly still am not sure if I'm going to keep it. Just because I'm like, do I really...
Give a crap.
Do I really need this? And then I'm probably going to, like, get it in, and I'm just going to open it up and be like, all right, screw it. Like...
And then Phil seemed overall, like, not blown away, but pretty content with it. Well, what about you, Christian? Were you like... You're like, hell yes, it's great. Let's go.
No, but that's okay. I think generally I'm agreeing with Phil, but I'm more willing to go on it. But, he funded it too, so I don't know. We're probably the same. I like that all of my characters can play together. I've liked that for the past several years, and these are more characters that can come play.
So you can play with those, and you can play with this too.
No. I played with it once, and then I didn't do it again.
I think
I would not buy this toy for myself, ever, personally.
Why is that? Do you just not care about the character, or is it because of the end product, the way it looks?
I just don't think it's Haslab worthy. Personally, I mean, the only thing that comes even close is a Death Cobra, being involved there, but that's. And I'm so sick of the fucking stands. Like, ooh, a stand! Like, can you... You know what I want to do with those stands? I want to go to Hasbro and stab people in the eyes with them, because that's what they're probably better for than holding up these hunks of plastic.
It seems like an overreaction.
Yeah,
probably
it is.
A bit much.
Maybe it's just
This is what we're going for, Rob.
Got those hot takes.
Right, you gotta have the hot takes.
Yeah, they
anything I don't like, I use to murder people.
Death Cobra needs to fund. I'd really like the staff. They call them nunchaku. I don't think that's what they are, but maybe they are. I don't know. But if it doesn't, DNA will do it, so that's fine. Death Cobra is the important one.
Well, I mean, those things are requirement. Really, the stand is the thing you don't need for this toy.
That's what I was saying.
So that's great. Great that is the last funding piece. But I mean, you're paying for those things whether you get them or not. That's part of the Haslab thing. It's priced to fund all the way. So whether you get that stuff or not, you're paying for it. And so excuse me. Luckily, none of our funding units have never made it. Right? We've never not hit all the tiers.
Well, good.
So that's good. So they're doing something right.
Well, Unicron were there tiers for Unicron?
There were plenty of collector tiers.
Yeah, the ship thing was the tier, I think.
Or did they just throw that crap into another pack? Because
Galvatron, the
Galvatron pack.
They threw a couple more into that one. But
the slug figures.
Yeah, they gave you a 3-prong stand, and you could only fit one thing on it, so it had these empty ports for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just disappointed. If people, kind of looking over the past week at all the original Liokaiser and the crappy Combiner Wars one that we got, yeah, we needed a new one, right? But I just don't think it needed to be a fanfare event. It could have just been a release. But I guess combiners are hard to put out these days, so they got to figure out a different way. We got Devastator, Superion, Menasor, now Liokaiser, and who else after that? I guess that's take what you get.
So
Defensor next.
Is your complaint, Paul, not the end product of Liokaiser, just that they picked Liokaiser for Haslab and you think it's too niche?
No, I guess Haslab is now the Japanese remember this shit toy line is what it is. It's not Haslab.
Isn't that Generations? Hey, remember this shit?
Well,
right.
Do you not want the Japanese figures? Because, I don't know. I know for Rob and whatever, he's like, hey, who cares? I already have all the Japanese G1, stuff. So, and I got it back in 1995 BotCon or whatever. So I got it for a nickel.
All my stuff I got in I got most of mine in 2010, to be clear. Once I got some bonus checks after working a lot of work at overtime, and I kind of went nuts. So, just to be clear.
I was there.
I guess that's Don, right? If Don's the guy that can talk
That's
about how it
correct.
was at the
Don
at the
got his,
1990. He's like, I don't know
Don got
why.
his from
Like
someone he had to mail a money order to overseas with a letter for a nickel, and that is how that happened.
he's probably complaining that like the Liokaiser that he got at BotCon 95 was like cheaper than this.
Yeah,
I don't
Probably.
I don't know what's, if you're sick of the Japanese train, like what's next then? Like what's next from Victory? That's like one of the main, heroes or villains that would be worthwhile. I feel like I'm missing somebody obvious.
We don't need more stuff from Victory. We need I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what would you want to do, even if there wasn't like I think Liokaiser was kind of an obvious thing with the trend.
Yeah,
but if you're saying
Road
kill
Caesar would be
Road Caesar, there we go. I knew I was missing something obvious. But yeah, where would you go?
I don't want a Road I want a Road Caesar less than I want a Liokaiser, but I mean, whatever. I don't think lesser of anyone that is like stoked about this. That's great. I mean, I just don't think it looks beyond just a Generations toy, I guess. I mean, at least like the Death Saurus, everyone says that was a great toy. Like it kind of stood out on its own. It's not Masterpiece, it's not Generations, it's a Haslab toy. It kind of like bucks the trend of whatever's going on, and that's cool. And I don't know if this does really. Like I just look at the proportions and like the individual bots look really stumpy, and sure they are articulated when you go that's what I was saying, when you go back and look at the previous iterations of this character, this is definitely the best one. Just like, oh, well,
I got kind of weird looks when I said I thought his proportions were bad. So I'm glad at least somebody else sees it.
No, I agree. I don't think his proportions are quite right.
And like, look at the feet bots. Their robot modes, I think, are really bad. Yeah. They're just like the legs are just one big ass chunk with half of the vehicle. Like they don't collapse. They don't do anything. They don't transform at all. It seems like really simplified.
If the Raiden that we got, like from Takara, if that instead of being what we got from Takara, that they released that as a $600 Haslab, would you have been happy?
They released that as a $600 Haslab?
Like if they had decided
awesome.
In an alternate world that Takara didn't release those things, and that they decided instead to do it as a Haslab. And it was a $600 Haslab
item.
What's that?
It's that exact same item, though.
Exact same item, except for is a $600 Haslab.
Oof, I would be kind of disappointed in that.
I disagree. You wouldn't, because you wouldn't have had 2 years to mull over it piece by piece. You would have gotten it all in one go, and everyone would have convinced themselves it's awesome.
I don't know, man. Like, I think the way they sold those first few bots was that they didn't show the combined mode clearly. And like when we saw Silos, just like, whoa, guys, this looks like shit. Turns out it was shit.
Yeah.
I've heard the individual bot modes are fun. It's one of the few Masterpiece toys though that I never bought just because I thought it looked so terrible.
Yep. I was in for the first two, and then we saw it.
That helps a lot.
The kit has me reconsidering. Maybe I'll come back.
The kit? Is there a DNA kit?
There's a DNA kit. It fixes. It gives him a lower chest area.
And
not that you should have to fix a toy of that price.
Hips and thighs. Yeah, no, you're right. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like I give combiners a little bit more slack because of the work the engineering has to do.
This toy combined in G1, man, and it's actually like one of the, in my opinion, best looking combiners of G1.
I agree. It is. And it is a great looking G1 combiner.
Like
it doesn't have parts, right?
No, other than the head, the Liokaiser head, or is it?
Yeah, so like it's the only one that has like all the fists and stuff like in the That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, the feet are pretty weak, to be clear. It's just like a little skinny flap. But I don't know. Given that the boss looks like this, I don't think the engineering is special at all for this one. Now, MMC's combiners, that's pretty, I think, amazing. Just because they are doing the all-in-one gimmicks. And every one of those toys is really fun. Like,
Christian
none of them have been
disagrees.
painful.
Christian, like...
Hey, he's allowed to be wrong. MMC's engineering has always been top-notch. It is the best third-party engineering, other than sometimes DX9 does really well as well. Like, they've done some really good stuff. Those engineers know what they're doing.
Christian, how many guys did you get from, what was it, Baldigus?
2.
Yeah.
I don't know, and those are the smoothest combiners I've ever messed with, especially like that are playing in the Masterpiece world.
Oh, okay. Well, that's our difference still, because I don't like playing in the Masterpiece world.
I mean, yeah, if you want something that still you can transform in 60 seconds, they're still not going to do that. But I don't know. I've never had any issues with any of their combiners. Super easy, way better than everything else. They somehow get both looks while keeping the transformation really simple compared to everybody else that makes them way overly complex. But,
well, and Rob, I
not
actually
that I
think
expected that from this, right? I didn't expect that from this, but I thought the individual bot modes at $50 Voyagers would look a lot better than they look.
Rob, I was gonna say that those MMC combiners, I think, do a really good job of towing the line between Generations and Masterpiece to where I think you could like squint and put it in either collection between if you want to do a mainline or Masterpiece.
But they're Masterpiece scaled.
They're kind of small Masterpiece scaled.
It depends on whose scale you're going with, but they definitely, I think they're much closer to Masterpiece scale. They fit in Masterpiece collections fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they look
like
large
huge.
in a Generations collection.
Like, I mean, here I've got behind me, Lucas. I've got, here's Hotspot. Here's Fans Toy Sovereign. Like this is not going to scale well with a Generations toy.
Right, I'm saying if you had the combine mode and everything, and you like to have big combiners.
Yeah, I could see that. I kind of like the idea that that Combiner Wars Devastator, where people were going to put him in and that kind of thing.
So like, there's Bruticus, and here's a Titan. The Titan toy's next to it. Sorry, I don't have more reach on my webcam, but like, the head of Bruticus probably comes up to like the chest area on Fort Max, something like that.
So I know for Liokaiser that I think Anna was complaining that she thought that this should be just slightly smaller, that she did not like that they sized it to be the same size as the other combiners. What do you guys think?
I think that's picking at nits.
I think that's the thought Anna had.
That seems like an Anna thought. No, I think she wanted everybody to scale with Dino King, and it doesn't. I think using Dino King as your North Star for that is not ideal. And she agreed, but it's also now really out of scale because a new friend will come along and make Dino King look really bad. That's just how it is.
If this is the centerpiece of my collection, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think all the combiners generally need to be the same size.
So he's scaled to go with like the new minute or the recent Minosaur and Devastator.
Devastator, who's the same size as Minosaur, who's the same size as Superior.
Right.
They showed the gray models of Liokaiser and Devastator together, and they are the same size.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
How do those compare to Victory Saber and Desirus?
Slightly taller than Desirus. I don't remember. I don't think they had Victory Saber out, and I don't remember how he compares height-wise to Desirus.
Nobody's blowing the other one away in height, though, right? Like they're comparable-ish. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't need to break out a measuring tape, but it's like if one is notably size difference, that would.
It's not like a junior
the combiners are taller.
Photo where some of the kids have hit puberty and some haven't. Yeah. You're not going to have it like that sort of thing.
Yeah, the combiners are taller. They should be.
You'd mentioned, Lucas, don't expect it to get repaints, but no Haslab has ever gotten repaints.
Right.
That at least not for Transformers that I know of. But what could you even repaint this into? I've never seen anybody come up with something to repaint Liokaiser stuff in. Rescue Force, yeah. You'd have to make up 2 of them, but you can do that.
Or just not release 2 of them.
Or just not do it.
3 of them.
2 of them.
Counting Death Cobra?
Yeah. Counting
Death Cobra. Yes, counting Death Cobra.
Yeah.
A lot of people chatted with Evan over the weekend. He once again brought up the idea of Haslab repaints. He said he still wants to do Splendid Yellow Convoy, and he would do Rescue Force. It's nice that you would do that, but is that even a thing you can do? I don't know.
I mean, he's kind of talking more out of the fanboy side of things than what Hasbro Corporate is going to give a stamp of approval on.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think if it would sell, they would do it.
Right.
I don't think I would not buy Rescue Force.
I
would.
I feel like
at 300.
Well, it depends on the price, right? If they lower the price, potentially.
It would be $100 for me to buy Rescue Force.
Hey,
if
it's not Haslab and they repaint something, it might not have the Haslab surcharge.
Oh, the $25 surcharge.
Maybe if they do it like Generation Selects, bring that back. Be Generation Selects to a wave.
All of you know that I would do horrible, wonderful things to get a Blackfire Convoy out of that new mold. But I just don't know that they're going to do that sort of stuff. Sort of flies in the face of the whole crowdfunding thing.
See, to me, Liokaiser makes more sense for that, given the fact that you can release the individual bots separately and in a much more palatable place. I mean,
can you? I mean, we don't know that.
I'm just saying, from a price standpoint, it's easier to put it out as a Voyager or Leader price point kind of thing versus,
especially when the tolling's paid for it.
Commanders by themselves.
Yes, you absolutely could. And I think that probably would sell pretty well. But then you're still talking about the idea of 2 high-priced large toys. And I mean, things are just kind of, we've got inflation, we've got shrinkflation, we've got all this going on right now. So
I think
this economy,
your Blackfire Convoy in this economy ain't going to happen.
I think the only way that it would not totally break the spirit of Haslab, which is the limited run, fund it now or lose it forever thing, is if they did an MTO as opposed to just a normal release. It's like, hey, we're going to do a limited run of Blackfire Convoy, and you can order it, and that's all there will be. Like, it's not going to come out in mainline. It's not going to be a retailer exclusive. It's going to still be on Pulse. It's going to be a different color. Do that. I could see a world where that happened.
I mean, personally, I get why the wailing and gnashing of teeth would happen, but also fuck FOMO as a selling thing, as a thing to encourage people to spend money with FOMO. I understand why businesses do it. Games do it. Everyone does it. You do it now or you lose your chance. And so killing FOMO is fine with me. I really don't give a shit. So if they wanted to later say, hey, we're gonna do a repaint of it and put it out somewhere, it's a different toy. It just is. You want to do it make to order, then cool. That's great too. I don't get hung up on that. The internet would lose its mind though. Honestly, that would probably be worse.
I think other than the issue with the fact that you're buying this 18 months ahead of when it releases, but worrying about whether or not you're going to secure a pre-order on something. I mean, shoot, go look at Devastator. Can you actually get all the guys still now at this point? I haven't checked. I know Pulse, they're sold out, but I don't know if I haven't checked to see if on Amazon if their pre-orders are still up or not.
I think the new Commander box set is a little tougher, but the first 2 are still, I think, fairly easy to get a hold of in terms of a pre-order.
Yeah, but I bet that once Devastator actually comes out, like that's going to be hard to get. And so like that's the thing too is it's just I feel like it like with all the Transformers, it's like if it's something you really want, like you better get it. You know, I guess you could wait for 5 years for the re-release, right? Like the Siege
The gift set.
Skywarp. The Skywarp that they re-ran for whatever reason
Yeah.
today. You're like, I knew it.
Awesome.
All I had to do was wait 5 years.
That's a tangent a little bit, but I saw someone online bitching the other day, like, "Oh man, I wish I could get Thundercracker and Skywarp in this Earthrise set. Are they gonna reissue this?" And everyone's like, "Bro,
They already
Bro.
did.
it's already
Missed
been
once.
reissued. You missed the boat fucking twice."
Mm-hmm.
But what
Not
will happen to
everything's
all the
jet
hot
fire.
links now? What will happen?
I will say that so there was a guy that had messaged me, and he found like a decent deal on Ultra Magnus, right? The one that they just came out with, and like literally the weekend before they did the re-release, and he was like, "Hey, I got this, or I got someone down to like 150 or something like that. What do you think? Should I get this, or should I wait for the theoretical re-release?" And I'm like, dude, like that's a pretty good price for like what is going on eBay. Like you never know if Hasbro's gonna re-release it, right? And then like literally, and so he went ahead and bought it. And then like, literally like a week later, it's like, oh hey, look at that! Like it went up
But
for.
But
you never know
pre-orders are
with this
sold
stuff.
out.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So yeah, it might be back up to whatever price now.
It's
again.
it's not like Skywarp's getting cheap. For like a moment, he will be cheap again, but
Right.
everyone still needs him.
Right.
Let's not forget that thing was available for months. So
Right.
I just think it's funny. The funny part is no one even cares that they're re-releasing the Sideswipe.
But that's the one that sold out on Pulse.
Oh really?
Really?
That was sold out. Skywarp is, I think, still up. It was when I checked before the show.
Whatever.
Well, it might be one of those things where they did a very limited run or something of Sideswipe and.
Well, these are not exclusive to Pulse. You can go to
they're
other
both sold out now.
retailers. Okay,
No.
you can go to other retailers to order them. Real quickly, side question here. Hearts of Steel, Bumblebee, and Megatron. Did they say when those are going to go up for order?
My understanding is that they were going up for order today. They did not.
I'm aware. And those are going to be Pulse exclusives as well, so I don't have to like go hunting for like, oh, they did go up for pre-order. You just missed it. It was on GameStop and they're sold out.
Yep.
I'm a
It's
little
funny
disappointed.
because we were talking about them like
Oh, sorry.
doing more comic packs. These are considered comic packs.
Where's my purple sound wave? Now is the time.
Zoldron says we had to wait for PulseCon for B and Migs. Is there a PulseCon? When the heck is that?
September, right?
Seems far away. Yeah.
Annually.
I was bemoaning to Christian because, I'm no longer a Pulse Premium member, so I had to pay shipping like a plebe over here on my Hearts of Steel pack. I'm like, $7.
Well, and you'll have to pay a surcharge on Liokaiser.
What's the premium cost these days?
It's like
50
$50.
Bucks.
55.
You're getting pretty close to you should just buy it.
Yeah, but Liokaiser, I think you don't get free shipping for that if you get premium, right? You guys
Yeah,
still
you do.
pay for it, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Do you?
But that's
Oh.
when everyone's talking about the charge,
No,
how expensive
maybe I'll
this
re-up,
thing
I
is.
don't know. Right.
You might as well.
Yeah.
But that's part of, free shipping doesn't exist. It costs money, and that's why that's why this thing is $300, because they're sick of sending these giant things to everybody. Because my FedEx guy told me, like, a lot of people must have bought some Star Wars ship the other day, and I'm like, yeah, that's that's called a Haslab. Like, they all ship on the same day. And he said his whole truck was full of the
ghost.
The ghost, yeah.
That's hysterical. When Doug from King of Queens is noticing it, then it's a popular thing.
So,
Paul.
Zelda
just said $50 in free shipping on everything. I mean, you're looking at if you get it, if you get the Pulse Premium, and then right there, $30 is paid for in terms of the shipping costs.
I might get it just for the Liokaiser shipping, I guess. And so
yeah.
Paul, were you excited for the other Haslabs? Like, is this the first one where you're just like, not for me?
Excited? I mean, the only one I was ever excited for was the Unicron.
Yeah.
So, not really. No. I mean, the best part about it was that I didn't know what it was going to be this time. So that was fun. Just to be like, ooh, surprise. Because that's how it should be. That's how normal people live.
Are you saying you're not a normal person?
What do you think, Phil?
You have ascended to a higher level beyond us?
I think he's saying the other way.
Yeah, I think I might be. I might be down.
You're like that church by Paul's house where hell has open borders.
A big pit in my backyard I dug that I just jumped down to go home and sleep.
Like when Alf tried to dig a lagoon in his backyard.
Iron Factory really stole the Haslab thunder.
Mm.
I mean, I can kind of see that. Like,
too little.
Right. Yeah. But I think at the same time, like, it's just something else to compare it to. Like, if you didn't have anything, you would be more excited for it, to get an updated version. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying there, Lucas, but it just, it's a, no pun intended, fairly small chunk of the fandom that buys that scale of toy.
Right.
I mean, there may be some people that love Liokaiser and they bought that because there was nothing else out there, but now they're probably like, buy this and get rid of their Iron Factory because it never really made sense anyways. I could see some of that going on.
But they love Liokaiser, they're going to buy both.
Yeah, they're going to buy both anyways.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like if you're an Iron Factory collector, you're probably all in. And it probably, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you're an Iron Factory collector, you bought it, and you might be skipping this one. If you're a Liokaiser collector, you bought the Iron Factory, and you're buying this one. Because it's not like, Liokaiser is not Bumblebee. They ain't making $1 million of that character. So, like every 5 years, you get to buy a new version of them. And this is something I talked about last week, where I'm not super enamored with this toy, but it looks pretty good. And, like, are we ever going to see a Liokaiser with all brand new individual molds like this? Because we haven't through mainline since the original. And that wasn't even, you could even argue that's not mainline because it was Japanese only. So this is the first time in America we can buy the Liokaiser that looks the way he's supposed to. It might be the only time, or at least for maybe 10, 20 years before we can again.
I think that's why it's even more of a bummer that it doesn't look better.
That's fair.
Well,
that's very fair.
I disagree, but if that's how you feel, then that is fair.
In defense of that, Rob, they got to make a new one that's dumpy before they make a good new one. If they haven't, there's no need to make the best Liokaiser of all time because the bar is like down here.
Incremental improvements.
Got to give themselves room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about
So I have
another
all those
tiny
holes in my
piece of
hardware.
news. If that's all right with you, gents.
You want to talk about what now?
Sure.
Another tiny piece of news. So we talked about the Hearts of Steel stuff. That's in a line called Timelines, which is weird to see because that used to be the BotCon and Club thing. But another tidbit that came out over the weekend at MegaCon is that Timelines is exclusively to release Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, and Starscream in different looks from different time periods.
No way. They said that?
Evan said that this weekend. So Timelines isn't like, hey, let's do Hearts of Steel. It's let's do the big four.
I mean,
Well, I hate that.
Makes sense.
Why didn't they call it like
Premium series?
Oops, Megs, Beebs, or something instead of.
I think Timelines might fall off the tongue a little bit easier than Oops, Megs, Babies, but I mean,
it's more accurate.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. They will do more Hearts of Steel if these do sell well, which is cool. But the plan is to do these 4 guys from different time periods across the franchise.
Give me Insect Train or go to hell. So
we kind of got
sounds
that
great.
with the Reactivate toys because we got Starscream and Bumblebee, and we got Optimus and Soundwave, not Megatron.
So is number 5.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think there's some cool iterations with this that, maybe we'll see from the different comic book, looks and iterations. I mean, maybe this is where we get a Marvel Comics Megatron, with the light gray and dark gray head, and Optimus being the, more bright blue and almost pink instead of red. Starscream in Marvel Comics colors would look great. Bumblebee, he kind of looks the same, right?
You could go for a Lost Light Megatron and that era Optimus.
Yeah. IDW era,
Blockies did it.
Blockies did do it. I could also go for animated. I know we got Prime and B, but Starscream and Megatron showing up that way would be cool too.
Yeah.
I love that I must have been beating my drum pretty hard because they are forcing character collecting on people. Way to go. Only took you 40 fucking years to figure it out.
What you could do for animated, Christian, is you could do their Cybertronian modes for Primes and Megs.
Yeah, or since it's a big old pack, they could include the Hydro Drive and the Wingblade stuff.
Yeah.
If that's really I can't believe that. You got to show me the source on this, Christian, because why aren't they all 4-packs then instead of splitting it?
There's 2 packs. I don't know.
It's more palatable for the consumer.
Probably that.
I mean, I'm pretty excited about this because I know if there's one thing that we need, it's more Optimus Primes and Bumblebees. We just don't have enough of them.
This is all just a ruse to get people to buy that 4-pack of Mega Changers as a Target. Now that Christmas is over and the replacement shipment just showed up. Oops.
You could do 3 out of 4 of them from Machine Wars. I guess just make up a Machine Wars thing for B.
I think
You
that's
could do
Bats,
whole Optimus, and Alligator Megatron.
Yeah.
You're calling it a bad idea. Watch it be the most successful Transformers subline in the past 20 years.
Oh, well, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like if you release those characters in anything, it doesn't matter. They're going to sell. So
It was a bizarre thing, but yeah, it's one of the many things that Evan said over the weekend. It's like, why would you...
Didn't you say that he also said something about Metroplex?
He did. He said that a Metroplex reissue with retooling is on the way.
Did he mean the G1 one, not the Cybertron one?
The Thrilling 30 one.
Okay. Now,
G1. Xbox.
Okay, yeah.
Are we going to acknowledge that
Sorry,
Evan
G1 based.
Our friend Evan, who we like, who is a swell dude, has definitely said shit that isn't true before and has been wrong and had to redact it.
Yes, that
at
has
these
happened.
events.
I think some of that's just the nature of, like,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily that he's probably like, not like he's out lying or making stuff up, but plans change.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and then the next morning you get in, the boss says, I was thinking of it over the
Yeah.
weekend, and that's just nah. And he's like, oh,
I don't think he's like
Oops.
talking this through like a sports GM who's like treating this stuff as like national secrets.
Right.
I think he's talking about stuff that he's working on at the time. And then, yeah, like any corporation, you know, you're gonna, oh, well, you know, we got to amend this
Yeah,
plan.
that's what I'm saying. It is a high level source who is meaning the best in what he's saying. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
it's all true.
The way you originally
until solicitations
framed it
show
made
up,
it
that
sound
toy isn't
malicious.
confirmed.
That wasn't
So
the way
the-
I meant.
I
The
would love
the
if,
Metroplex specific rumor around Metroplex is that he's getting retooled to have better articulation. That's why he's taking longer than the other reissues we've seen lately. Ankle tilt specifically was brought up.
I would love if Evan would just start leaking like the next waves at the con and just be like, all right, JT Prime, come at me, bro.
I mean, really, for a G1 based Metroplex, it's great if they're retooling it a bit, but I really just think it needs a new mold. It just does not fit in the slightest with every other Titan. You know,
You don't think it fits in? Like, I mean, if they did retooling, right?
I mean, you'd have to rework so much of it because everything else is like, hey, what if we took G1 and just upped it a bunch and then put in some gribbles? And, you know, I mean, Metroplex was the first Titan. It was before we were kind of really adherent to the G1 toy look for things in the main line. You know, like,
right.
there was nothing wrong with it at the time. It was amazing for its time.
Sure.
But pretty quickly after that, the pivot happened. You know, where it's like, hey, this should just be the G1 toys. You know, but
Yeah. And they've already retooled that thing somewhat unsuccessfully as Fortress Maximus. So, like, let's just let it die.
Right.
You know, I think there's a world where they spend the money and it's retooled to exactly what we want it to be. And I think that'd be really cool. I also don't think it would conform to even the new Titan, the new bigger Titan price point of 200. I think it would have to be, you know, 250 or even 300 if they, you know, make it the way it should be. So I don't know. I was thinking,
Right.
of course, I mean, you could talk to me from a week or two ago and say, you know, I thought Metroplex would be a Haslab. But ever since Anna talked about her, you know, popularity thing, I think Metroplex is too popular to be a Haslab. I don't think they would put him over there.
I don't think those words mean what you think they do, because you want to sell a lot of the thing. So you want them to be popular.
That's what I'm saying. I think Metroplex is too popular to have to rely on Haslab to be funded.
I think
Yeah,
Chris
I-
said it's
I think
popular.
they would
but
just
they can
make it.
sell a lot more if they send it to distributors and retailers. You know,
Right, yes.
if you carry it in Targets and whatnot, they can make a lot more and make more money.
Even
Okay.
just BBTS and EE and all those retailers,
Yeah.
you can carry those places, and Amazon.
Yeah.
And
We just really don't know the numbers, so it's kind of like
Right.
It always handicaps these conversations.
Yeah, I just think it would be hard though, like you said, Christian, if they do have to charge more, like, you know, I don't know. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Oh, man, it's
Especially-
More than what?
it's gonna be $60 at Ollie's. Oh.
right.
That's right.
I'll wait for the knockoff. So
That's what you do if you're a masterpiece collector, right?
some.
You know what? Then you're not a masterpiece collector.
You're a knockoff collector. Other things that we saw over the weekend, the Space Bridge announcements for Iron Fist and Carnivac, Sandstorm versus Slugslinger, that was surprising to see in that line. And then Walmart exclusive Cybertron Sideways and Cybertron Excellion.
We didn't see Sandstorm yet, right? Like these were just
No.
like, hey, these are coming.
Yes.
Right.
It
They're
was,
like
it
the
was
pipeline
the
reveals.
G1 computer. I'm sorry, G1 cartoon image that they use for Sandstorm,
Yes,
and the
I
box
think-
art for Slugslinger.
Slugslinger.
The G1 box art for Slugslinger.
The Sandstorm really interests me because the only, I think, attempt even at making a new version of G1 Sandstorm was that DX9 toy that was supposed to be. I think it was DX, or was it Unique Toys?
There was a legacy figure of him last year.
Was there? That was a unique mold?
Pretty good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So it'll be that with the cartoon head and some altered deco.
Well, I'm going to have to Google and see how that turned out.
It was pretty good.
Well,
It was pretty good.
People like it. Stuart Smalley.
Pretty good.
And Slugslinger, I have to imagine.
Oh,
is
now I'm
the
remembering it.
LG version light.
That dude skipped leg day. Skipped leg day bad.
It wasn't perfect,
It's not bad.
but it was good, yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Helicopter
bad.
mode is really good.
I mean, it's better than the one other version I've seen since G1, which was, again, the third-party version.
Which was not good.
Yeah, it was not good.
And the legacy one does come with a lobster trap.
It's true.
Hi, Paul.
So, Paul.
So I was surprised when I saw the little box arty do thing of Sideways, because it wasn't what I was thinking it would be.
That would be Armada.
That was the that was kind of the accepted expectation.
Which
they do
Sideways is
Cybertron
it?
Sideways the whole time. Noise
Cybertron.
Maze.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, it's going to be Cybertron Sideways. So that's what
Well,
Cybertron
it's with
Sideways looks like.
Excellion, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it does make sense.
And also they can do, like, Senator Ratbat repaints out of it, and they can do a Batman crossover with it. Right?
Probably. That's been
That's
rumored for a
thinking.
while. You muted.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm just saying whatever.
Cybertron Sideways, I never got. I kind of skipped a lot of the Cybertron toys, but that's
Shouldn't have.
always been one. I know. I've been getting back into them over the last couple of years, but like that's always been one that's like, God, that's a really cool design.
Go get him.
You know, I probably will. Probably at TF kind of go hunt one down.
I had a lot of that mold throughout the years, because the Cybertron one, and then they did the sweeps out of them, and
Yeah.
then they did Scourge out of it, you know, and
That.
Yeah.
And the production type.
so yeah, they used that mold a lot. It was a cool toy.
Good mold.
Yeah.
Soundwave is super cool. You don't have
Yes, and that's been on the rumor list for a while. And I'll be
Only if
able
you
to
come
get
with all
my
those barrel
actual-
chests.
Get my actual 13th Prime out of that.
Wait, Paul. What are you saying? Soundwave? What?
the Cybertron Soundwave is.
Oh yeah, the Stealth Bomber Soundwave. Yeah. Speaking of Stealth Bomber Soundwaves, the Transformers Earthspark Soundwave looks very nice.
It's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing looks really cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. And then hashtag looks okay. I like her first alt mode better. The Ghost Van I thought was cooler looking than the kind of I don't know.
Pickup truck.
Yeah, the kind of just what was it?
She now has 2 deluxe molds, and none of them are the Ghost Van.
Yeah. What was it? Not the PT Cruiser. Was it the Chevy CRV or something?
HHR.
HH. Yes, the HHR. It was the HHR that her.
Oh no,
chef
it's not.
mode.
It's the. I know which one you're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. Where like, they're
CRZ.
trying to make it like futuristic retro,
Yeah.
that kind of thing that they were doing in like the mid noughts. Yeah.
So you're saying this is another deluxe mold, different from the Japan one?
The Japan one is an upgraded version of the Warrior class, which I did not realize until Anna pointed it out to me. So credit to her. And this deluxe mold is an entirely new thing.
It is? Wow.
Yes,
So Japan's going to release 2 of them, just like they did with what's his balls.
with Thrash. Yeah.
That's just really funny. Huh, that's cool though. I thought I think if I remember correctly, at the time I knew it was a Warrior Plus, kind of like the Elita 1.
Yep.
But
I didn't.
It's
I
so
truly didn't because I don't pay attention to the Warrior stuff.
it has to
And
do
I
with
got-
the thing on the hood, right? Because it connects with other Warrior toys.
And they took that out.
Oh.
gave her some ankles and articulation, better paint. So like I didn't even think to compare it. And turns out, yeah, it's that. It's nice. I have it. I would never have guessed unless Anna had told me. And then she did. So unlike Thrash, I think I'm just gonna keep the one I have because she's really good. Looks like the show.
Yeah. And I'm just in general excited to see them do more of the characters from that show. I think there's some really cool designs that we've gotten in that cartoon, and it's nice to see them come into 3D format because, as much as cartoons are cool, this is toy first. We've talked about that so often with this. Is why don't we get these great stories? It's like, well, because it's toy first, and then when you get a great story and you don't necessarily have the toys to go with it, it's like, but come on, do the thing. Say the line, Bart.
I can't remember. Is Earthspark over? Or do they have another season?
It's done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they have the new cartoon that's going to be coming out, right?
It's called Cyber World.
Yeah.
Megatron is a bull.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how much
Anyone?
I think my ISP blocks cyberworld.com. So
I was gonna say, what do they do in this show?
Don't know yet.
that's a TFYLP After Dark.
I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what some of these toys are going to look like. Iron Fist and Carnifex, especially. Carnifex, another pretender. What's that? Carnivac.
Carnivac.
Do real
Carnifex
pretenders.
is MC's Overlord.
Do real pretenders, you cowards.
Yeah.
Give me a big dumb plastic shell that has zero articulation. Bring it.
Yeah.
Carnivac is a retool of Titans Return Weird Wolf.
I mean, that makes sense. It just...
Except he doesn't have a shell. Doesn't make sense.
You don't have a shell?
Don't we all?
That you know of. What if you're just seeing the shell? Actually, no. I hope he has a shell to go out in public because that face just needs to be.
I don't go out in public, man.
Yeah. Rob, let's just talk again about like how a polo shirt works and all that kind of thing. Anyways,
Iron Fist is from Hound.
Yeah, that makes.
I don't
sense.
know which version of Hound.
Yeah.
But like Carnivac to me is interesting, and it again goes back to what we saw out of the Pretenders, whether it was the Scout class or the Lux mold. In both size class or both versions of Carnivac, he's a wolf, very different color scheme, whether it's the gray or whether it's the purple and gold. It's like, what are we going to get here? So yeah, I mean, I'm literally just like saying that not as like, man, I love this character and I want to see what he's going to look like. I mean, I think it's cool. I've never had him. I'm like, I'm legit curious. Like, what is he going to look like?
Like Titans Return Weird Wolf.
Yeah, we're going to get Perceptor, Studio Series Perceptor, re-released with a Studio Series Ramhorn.
Oh, yeah.
And Ratbat.
And Ratbat, yes, and Ratbat, yeah. So Steeljaw here will have a little buddy to hang out with. This wonderful little Steeljaw will have his buddy Ramhorn. He can hang out. Die.
It'd be great. I hope the quality is just the same.
Yeah.
I painted one of those about 2 weeks ago, and it was fine.
Rob likes his jaws like he likes his men made of steel.
I have all my cassette bots behind me, my masterpiece cassette bots. I had to rework my shelves, and so
yeah, I had to get Fans Toys that blaster so I can get Rewind there because I do have the cassette 3-pack that they did.
Yeah, I couldn't do it just to get the cassette. Just couldn't do it.
I don't have a Masterpiece Blaster, so
yeah, I had the DS one.
Yeah, I mean that one was so ubiquitous in terms of just like,
There's a great toy, and it was so cheap.
Yeah, and it, like, you know, one of the few times where like a company, whether it's Hasbro or a third party for that matter, like first time around, like just nailed it, just hit it out of the park.
I think the Deformation Space label was a rebrand of other toy companies.
Is that what DS stands for?
Deformation Space, yes.
Oh.
Which sounds like a sequel to Transmorphers, but you know,
it's not from S&D Toys.
I don't think
well.
so.
Never heard of Deformation Space.
We're good
what?
program.
I've never heard of that.
They only did a couple of toys, but like they're both good. But I'm pretty sure it's the same. I can't remember where I got this from. But I think it's the same designer that did Transform Element. And supposedly that designer actually did some masterpiece toys. So that could all be complete bogus. You know, like I have no connections. It's just things people said on the forums that I remember that may or may not be true.
All right. Well, I know we've went down the rabbit hole here with some other topics. Do we have any other final thoughts before we wrap up?
Christian, did you see what's happening on February 18th?
No. Oh, yes.
Hasbro Pulse, G.I. Joe live stream.
Why would I care about that?
I'll leave with buy what you like, and if you're stoked for this, awesome. Enjoy.
Well, I want it, so I think people should go back it. Because I want to get it. And if you don't like it, then just sell it.
I don't think you're going to have a problem. I think you're going to be fine.
I think people should go to DairyCon 2025. That's what I think. And we can talk about this shitty toy after it's funded.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you to everyone in the chat. And we'll see everyone next week.
Ooh, missing links.
Bye.